So, Mr. Fleury, since we last spoke, you've beaten two lads and you've won the Octagon light heavyweight belt. It must have been
Well,
quite a surreal experience winning the belt. Kind of all those years of work, it's finally paid off properly. There's a lot
yeah,
that's been said. What's next for Will? You've been looking, there's been talks of McMurdoch, or you've said recently that you want to go down and potentially be a double champ this year. Is that something that you can see yourself doing, fighting Kareem and going down to middleweight?
yeah. I'd love to do the game changer tournament, but they'd have to let me know pretty soon if that's something that they want. Uh, Look, there's a lot on the table right now. We're still at a place where there's a hell of a lot of options. It's only mid-January, so I know that there's game changer fights happening as late as April. I could definitely make middleweight for April if they want that. Murdoch says he can only do middleweight. He won't do a catchweight, even though he's a pretty big guy. It would have made a lot of sense to do that catchweight fight, then fully go down to middleweight. But
Yeah,
if he'll only do middleweight, then the game changer is more money. So I'd rather do the game changer. And then when I'm already down at middleweight, we could do that fight after I win that. I could challenge for the belt or whatever. That's an option. There's also options of maybe somebody kind of steps up at light heavyweight. Maybe there's some contender there. And also the heavyweight belt is vacant at the moment, so that's a possibility too. But again, going to middleweight and going to heavyweight, very different things. So, like right now, I'm still in this place of like all things are quite possible, but within a week or two, I'm gonna have to know what the path is because in terms of diet and how I'm going to achieve those things, it's going to be very different. Um, Heavyweight's a lot of extra calories, middleweight's a lot less calories. So like I need to know pretty soon. Right now I'm just kind of doing what I'm doing, training the same way I have been for light heavy. So we'll see what happens. But like there's been a little bit of dialogue between myself and the two lads. Um, Not directly, but through management and whatever. But we're figuring things out. Um, it's more what's going to be, you know, I'm genuinely open to everything. Honestly, I am. But what's going to pay the best, what's going to be the biggest fight, what's going
yeah.
to be the biggest opportunity to create something special. And I suppose like what's going to be most fun to do because like right now, the thought of making middleweight fairly short notice would be a bit miserable. It's the middle of winter, calorie restriction kind of some shit. But I will do it. Like I said, if they give me that opportunity at the Game Changer tournament and they've laid up one of the later dates like March or April, I would do that. So it's just about putting it on the table and saying, here's what it is. But so far, we've kind of just been feeling each other out, teasing each other out, and kind of they're sussing me out and I'm sussing them out. But once there's definite options and once something is definitely made an offer, yeah, I'll probably be jumping on something pretty soon.
So I want to kind of go back a little bit and talk to you about the fight with Carlos. I watched it live and I just remember sitting there and going, I think it was round three when you hit him with all those shots. I was sitting there going, what the fuck is this guy's head made of? What was going through your head at that time? Because I was shocked that he was still standing.
Fucking
Like,
similar enough thoughts, yeah.
yeah, like it was
I
insane. It was fucking insane. He just wouldn't go
yeah, I couldn't
down and
believe
he
it.
just kept looking at you going, oh, it was mad. It was
Because
absolutely mad.
everyone has seen that clip of the knee now, like the knee landing and, me putting my hands out there. But that's after about 2 minutes of landing fucking big shots on the guy. I don't know what the hell he's made out of, but like, look, I saw him get chinned before he got chinned this time last year. And look, good accurate shots, but not like amazing shot. Like, I call him a hell of a lot better than he got caught in those fights, and a lot more consistently. And look, he wasn't exactly exhausted though. That was the first round KO, whereas he was knackered when he was taking these shots.
Yeah.
And something in the guy just wouldn't switch off. It was bizarre to me. Um, Even how he regained his balance after that knee, because when it landed, the way his head went, it just looked like sure he's gone. As in, like his head is leaning completely one side. I don't know how his feet even stayed under him. To be honest, it was mad. But yeah, bizarre. To be honest, was and like yeah, I'm just thinking why the fuck is this guy not going down? It
Yeah.
was weird. Like,
Yeah. It
and I
must
was
be.
knackered. Like by the end of that third round, I was exhausted from hitting him.
Yeah.
Um, so even like at one stage while we were on the ground, like because he went for that guillotine and the guillotine wasn't close, but like I was just fucking exhausted. So I like went with it and then got out and I was pushing on his face. I was covering his mouth and I threw two little hammer fists. And was shouting at him. I was like, "Just die, you cunt!" And he started laughing. Like, so we were having a bit of crack in the fight as well. But like, it was madness. Like, I don't know what that lad's made out of.
Yeah. Was there any moment other than that kind of round three that stood out to you during the fight where that you can kind
I
of look
got
back and
him
go, "Oh
first
my
round.
God."
There was a couple of big uppercuts the first round, and they kind of twisted his chin. Um, and he managed to balance himself. And then I caught him heavy in the body right after, and I knew that shot landed. Like it was a good whack to the diaphragm. So I thought he might even like. I felt like I was pretty close to finish him in the first round at one stage as well. But sure, he was straight back at it. Like he took me down at the start of the second round, and he was bulling for it. Like, but it was funny. Like as much as he kept coming out with a big burst at the start of every round, like two, three, four, five. Two, three, four. He came out with a massive burst at the start of the round. Five, he was a bit fucked. All right, but um, like I felt he was willing to kind of lose slowly. As soon as I was on top on the ground, he was keeping that locked down, really squeezing his legs.
Yeah.
Like when you're squeezing your legs together like that, you're not getting up.
Yeah.
It's
He was
just you're
going out
staying
in a
where you are.
shield.
Like you're accepting, yeah, you're in half guard bottom. And like, that's fine. I'm happy enough to stay there if you are.
Yeah.
I'm on top of you. I'm the one hitting you more. So, grand. Um, so I suppose from that point of view, I feel like if there was a real intention to win there, he would have been doing something a little bit different. But while he was fucking up and going, I was amazed the energy he had. And even there to keep his legs so fucking like, I was trying to pass for a lot of that. And he was squeezing the shit out of his legs. So I don't know where he was getting the energy to do that. But like, it was great in a way because it got like, it allowed him to keep his dignity a bit. And he showed like, here, I'm a fucking tough bastard. And he is, no doubt about it. A lot of respect for the guy afterwards. But also like, I got to the show, look, I'm at this level and I can go in there and whoop a guy who's willing to take that much damage. And you know, I'm not the one getting damaged, thank fuck. So could be
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
lot worse,
So you're the first Irish champion in Octagon. I know a big thing what you were talking about in the press conference was legacy and building a legacy that is Will Fleury. Now that we have an Irish champion, I know you were very insistent on bringing Octagon to Dublin because it's a European organization and Ireland is the fighting capital of the world. Like we're the fighting nation, and I think that there's such a big Irish fan base, and they did try a UK and Ireland crossover with that show. But
but they
would you?
never came to Ireland,
Yeah, yeah, it was all in the
So they
UK.
tried the UK, like they tried England, and they kind of think they're the same thing, and they're not. It's pretty odd. Like that's what I'm trying to convince them of. And it's like I said at the pre-fight press conference. There's so much talent in this country, and I feel like right now I'm getting to kind of spearhead that and represent it in a way of, they're like there's a lot of lads coming in behind me who are going to fucking leave better legacies than I'll ever leave and be fucking great fighters. And I'd love to bring that show over and be the main event and fucking fight one last time in the Tree Arena for one of my last fights or whatever, and have them lads under that and be like, okay, here's the next generation. They're gonna go and fucking surpass what I'm gonna do. You know, that would be lovely. But like, look, we'll see what I like. The main thing, like, you have to look out for yourself. It's a fucking individual sport, and I've done a decent enough job of that in the last year. But ultimately, I would like it to kind of circle back around and fucking make it something that kind of benefits Irish MMA a little bit too in the end. Um, Main thing now, keep progress. Like, I don't think that's going to be anytime soon, to be honest with you, the way things are lining up. Like, this game changer tournament's a huge opportunity. The belt being open, and it's a German guy like Lazar Tonev is the guy who's most likely going to challenge me for that if I go for the heavyweight title. He's based in Germany, so they'd sell that in Germany. They have a big market in Germany. They're just after getting onto RTL Plus. So that's the market to focus on right now and build yourself up over there and, become a fucking household name over there. A lot of opportunity then in that. And that could create doors in Ireland. Like, like I suppose Irish MMA is in kind of a weird place right now where we have a lot of talent, but we don't necessarily have the platform. And Octagon have the platform. So it'd be beautiful to connect those two things. Um, but how I achieve that, and look, it's not going to be solely me, but I'm going to be a big part of it. I would really like to see those two things happen,
Yeah, so in the
that
past,
connection.
yeah, in the past kind of year, there's been a huge amount of talk with triple champions in organizations. I know we saw it in one championship with Anatoly, but that's kind of different with the weight classes. Where now there's a lot of talk of it in the UFC. You have the potential to go down, win the middleweight belt, go back, defend your belt at light heavyweight, and then win the belt at heavyweight and become the first ever triple champion in Octagon. Is that something you can kind of see yourself doing within the next 2 years and so a goal that you would like to pursue?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, look, that's very possible. Um, there's no delusion or doubt in my mind when I say that. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. It's more from a fucking planning point of view. You like right now that belt is open, and the challenger is not an extremely big heavyweight. He's about 107, 108 kilo walking around. I'm about
Yeah,
103 right now. So that's not inconceivable. The likes of Kareem Anzingizek there's about 8, 9 kilo between us. I can lose that.
yeah,
It'll just take a little while. So I can get down. I can do that. I can definitely beat that guy. So it's about how you go about it. So, like, do you go up and then go down, or do you go down and then go up? Because I feel like the going down will be the harder part, obviously. So maybe go up and then down. And also like, look, I like this truth, like I don't want to be clogging up the division, but right now there's fucking nobody there to challenge me for the belt. So
yeah,
like I just beat Karlos, he's the number two guy. The number three guy, Alex Popic, is calling out fucking Langer, not calling me out. So he's clearly got no intention to be fucking champion anytime soon. So I'm putting my hands up and being like, lads, I will defend the belt if one of me is challenging. But right now, nobody seems to be fucking challenging or putting their hand up to challenge. So then, like, that's allowing me to focus on these things. I genuinely think that I could be a triple champion by the end of this year. Having like looked at, mapped it out. If I'm given the opportunities to go and do that, that can happen. Um, so look, let's see what's put on offer, and also it's kind of a little bit now about like understanding that you can create the narrative
yeah,
and like putting that out there, even putting the triple champ thing there. Like I said it at the post fight press conference. Like I said, legitimately, I can be your first middle or your first freeway champ. Um, and I kind of think that they're like looking at that, going, "Shit, he might actually be that." Like they made me number two on the pound for pound list, and Kid has done amazing things, so that's completely fair.
yeah.
Um, so I think that maybe they're lining it up that way. We'll see. We need to have a good chat, but yeah, I think like I would expect big things to happen this year. And from my point of view, then it's just about capitalizing on that. Like when you get that opportunity, go in there and fucking smash it. Like,
Yeah. So a big thing about you is legacy. And obviously, when it comes to legacy, activity is so important. With this year, how many times would you like to be seen fighting on Octagon?
just depends. I'm pretty healthy. I came out of that not that banged up. I have a little bit of a fucking throat and sinus infection now at the moment, but like that'll be gone in a week or two. So I can't see any reason why I couldn't fight like March time. And then it could be like March, June, September, December, and we could do four this year if it works out that way. But it's more what those fights are. So
Yeah.
like I know they're doing the stadium in Eden in June.
Yeah.
Um, I would like this is the thing. They're trying to maybe sell that Murdoch fight for then. So that would be pretty cool. Like I would love that. Um, it's more, we'd have to get things agreed upon beforehand, and figure out is it gonna definitely be middleweight, all that type of thing. And obviously person, all that sort of shit. But like that would be a really fun fight. There's a lot like look, there are genuinely a lot of options right now. And I think it's kind of just about, you know, picking like or solidifying what those things are. And then if we're gonna do the three weight class thing, how you're gonna go about that. Because like say if I'm gonna fight at heavyweight at some point this year, I would probably want that to be like pretty soon
Yeah,
because I'm not super light right now. So go up a few and then come down a good few. Um, and you see the coming down after going up will take a while. So could it be like March and then you don't fight again until like August, September, and then maybe one more at the end of the year? Who knows? Like, take it as it comes. The whole thing's fucking chaos anyway. Like, people are trying to put structure on this thing, and I'm like, you just have to go with the flow of it. And
exactly.
like, main thing is that when you're in there and you're smart, like you're ready to smash, and you're the guy going in to absolutely batter everybody else. Like,
Yeah. So you always do, not always, but you've been doing a lot, like a kind of a week over in, like, is it Vegas with Strickland, Sean Strickland? You'd always do
yeah,
kind of a week with Sean. How is training with him? Because it looks like he's such a difficult man to fight against. He's so complicated and he's
he,
just awkward. When you're sparring with Sean, how is it?
it's different. He's got a very like sound defensive game, so he's hard to hit clean. Like, it's very hard to like land things on him. And the odd time you can get him to buy a feint or buy something, but then he'll figure you out pretty quick. He's very like intelligent defensively. Um, but like they're good rounds. They're like high pace rounds, and they're kind of like this is the thing. I think he's developed a reputation as being like absolutely crazy. And when I see some of the shit he put out on social media, I'm like, oh, you're a fucking muppet. But like in general, as a sparring partner, he's high paced, but he's not a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And it's good sparring. I really enjoy it. Like, I really like going with him as a partner. Like, he pushes things to the point where you're uncomfortable, and it's like, yeah, we're going, but it's not silly. It's not like we're trying to beat the fucking head off each
Yeah,
other
he's
or
not
like
trying to hurt
somebody's
you.
trying to
Yeah.
knock somebody. Yeah, like you're hurting each other, but safely.
Yeah.
If that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Like
get what
you're
you're
landing,
saying.
yeah, you're landing good clean shots, but you're not like trying to break somebody's knee. You're not trying,
Yeah.
like in a grappling situation, nobody's going to do that too spazzy or too ridiculous. Or so it's like high hard rounds, like high pressure hard rounds, but you're not coming out with injuries.
Yeah.
Your mount might be a little beat up, your fucking might have a few bruises, but it's good round, like, and they're I think the thing about it is as well, you get used to being in that environment and you get used to the intensity of that, and then you become comfortable at that intensity. And
Yeah.
one, like, I used to train a lot in London, like London Shoot, and those were very high paced rounds. Rounds were like a fight early. And in a way, it's not the best way of training because you're always high pressure. But I think there's like a need to replicate that. And once you kind of replicate it enough that you're comfortable there, then it's like, okay, you don't need to go there quite as much, but you need to get comfortable there.
Yeah.
So, like, I think there are different stages in your career. And I'm lucky in the fact that, like, I probably had enough of those high pressure rounds where I was getting the shit kicked out of me for most of them, that I'm kind of comfortable enough in those
Yeah.
situations. And you're not
Comfortable
like,
being uncomfortable.
rounds not going your way, you're not going to break mentally. You're kind of just like, all right, yeah, you just got to stick in this and turn it around and like figure out the pattern here. And I like, look, all the blood and guts bullshit and all these like hard round bullshit, your technique's going to be what pulls you through. So, like, if you don't have the answers technically, you're not going to change what's happening. But sometimes guys will have technical answers and be overwhelmed by pressure and by the situation and by the pace of the round. And I think it's like it's a mixture of both. That's what fighting is. It's like you need to be technically proficient, but you also need to be like pretty fucking hard headed to stick in
Yeah.
there and, you know how to apply that technique under pressure too.
Exactly. So I'll give you one last question. In the past week or two, there's been a lot of comments made about Irish fighters from Khabib Nurmagomedov.
All
What?
that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought they were incredibly stupid. What do you think about what he said?
Well, like he said, Ireland has no champions.
Yeah.
I was gonna do a video being like, Lother, I am champion. Send best Dagestani, give to me. But I don't know. Like, look, I think like they're fucking good fighters. Let's be fair. Um, and probably the average level there is slightly better than the average Irish fighter.
Yeah.
Now, to say like compare Dagestan to anywhere else in the world, I think you can say that they're fucking very high level lads.
Yeah.
I think we probably need to fucking adapt a culture where we're fucking competing with that.
Yeah.
I don't think we're far off. I think the talent coming through from the generation slightly behind me and like generation a good bit behind me, even like I'm talking about like the young lads I see coming up, they're fucking class and they've got like good mindsets. And I'm really excited about what those lads can go and achieve. But I think culturally, probably we need a bit more of that fucking stoic mentality and a bit more of that fucking like, yeah, it's work because it is work. And like, yeah, talking shit's going to get you somewhere a little bit in this game. And like, I'm an example of that in the last year. But it's also like, if you don't have the fundamentals behind that and the fucking work ethic behind that, it's not going to go anywhere for you. So I think like we've had a kind of a period where there was a lot of bluster a little bit. And now we seem to be getting lads in who are fucking bluster but work. And that is it. You know, it's like if you don't have the work ethic and the fucking back it up, and if you're not willing to take on the fucking world and say, I'm the hardest cunt out there, I can beat any fuckers. And I see a couple of lads come up who are like that, you know? Like, and even like, you look at the like, we have fucking Derek Kelly and Kieran Clark, and like, Kieran's 10-0, Derek Kelly's 7-0. And like, they're fighting legit tough lads, you know? And nobody's talking about them being world beaters, but like, they're going out there and beating solid pros on big platforms,
Yeah.
fucking time and time again. And maybe it's because they're not mad shit talkers that they're not getting that fucking platform or that exposure. Um, yeah, look, it's a complex question, but basically my fucking answer would be like, I think we're fucking pretty damn close to compete with Dagestan and the
Yeah.
likes of the boys. And I think somewhat like of a cultural change here is needed to be like, okay, we are not like, let's be fucking fully honest. Khabib's kind of got a point. You know, we're not at that fucking level. Look at the average grappler from there. Like, look at the IMAFs. They're fucking dominating the shit out of it. It suits their style a bit more, whatever. But it is like there's a culture and a work ethic in that, like, you know, from that fucking environment that seems to create something a little bit special and seems to create the odd special fighter. Now, I think we have a fucking more c'est la vie fucking open mentality, which is actually more powerful in a lot of ways, and we embrace the chaos of fighting a little bit more. But it's like tie that into that fucking work ethic, and you've got something extremely powerful. And I feel like Irish MMA, like, you know, we could be absolutely fucking leading the charge in this thing. And we could be like, no, this cunt's not even fucking able to say shit like that. But we're not there. That's reality. And that's like, that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to shit on Irish MMA at all. I think we're fucking class. But I think we could be so much fucking better. And it pisses me off that it's like, this cunt's able to come out and say that. And you know
Yeah.
what? If I'm being fully fucking honest, yeah, he's a tiny bit of a fucking point. I like, look, from my own point of view, give me the best Dagestani lad you have at light heavyweight. I'd love to fucking smash him. Who did I have? Like, I know Ankalaev's a bit more Chechnyan than Dagestani, isn't he? But
I'm not
like,
sure. I think I just know he's Russian. I'm not too sure.
yeah. So like, that's the funny thing with it. They gotta have that like Caucasus identity anyway. But like, I know a lot of really, really good Chechnyan fighters, like, you know, young lads in the gym, whatever. And like, they're more technically hungry. They're hungry for technique. And, you know, they'll watch fighting more and they're more like, they approach it a different way.
Yeah.
And that's a more powerful way to learn. But then I kind of think our like fucking mentality towards like, fuck it, give it a go is
Yeah.
also quite powerful because like, to me, that control constantly mentality, it's like, yeah, what happens when you're not in control? You start to break. And, you know, I feel that with a lot of these, like, look, you know, and I'm generalizing a lot here, but like, a lot of times you have to accept that fucking fighting is chaos.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of lads from the East, they're more like, once you start to get the edge, they don't turn it around. Whereas, like, you could fuck me up for 2 rounds and I'll come out in the third and be like, all right, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
You know? And I like, and I can still chin you, I can still fuck you. Um, Again, it varies individual to individual, obviously, but like, there's something more powerful about like, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
But also understanding the fucking dynamics of the sport and like having a very good technical understanding of what you're trying to do. So it's finding the balance between those two things. And I really feel like our fucking culture is well set up for that. And in general, like, you look around most of Europe, we're producing some of the fucking best fighters out there. And look at like, even I kind of think America's been slightly left behind in a lot of this shit. Like when I go over and train in Vegas or wherever, I'm always impressed when I get back home because I'm like, all these lads are technically better than the boys over in Vegas. Um, and you wouldn't expect that. You would like that wouldn't be the common perception out there, but it's the reality. And like even look at the level of jiu-jitsu in Ireland at the moment. Like you have boys going out and smashing it on the world stage, and you know, I think like yeah, there's a lot we should be fucking proud of, but it doesn't mean we can't improve.
Yeah, we're already getting to a very good level. We have people like Muhammad who just beat like J-Rod.
Yeah,
We have Sam McNally, Dara
yeah,
O'Connell, all those really good lads at jiu-jitsu. And I think, yeah, but I think the biggest thing that will change that is the recognition or yeah, the recognition of MMA as an official sport in Ireland. Because
yeah.
that's what one of the biggest benefits Dagestan has. They get funding, they get so much help. With Ukraine, with the IMAFs, I've said this again and again. If an athlete wins that, their family gets 10 grand and their coach gets another 10 grand. Like that's insane to me.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I only found it out a couple months ago. But like if that was
yeah.
how it was for Irish families, we'd see so
Well,
many more
like
kids
as an
in it.
Irish lad, you're paying to go over there, and do you get anything if you win? I don't even know. Do you? Is
No,
there a
you
prize money
don't.
for lads who win it?
You
Yeah.
get a kick up the arse.
So,
Like
well, even like, sure, didn't like, okay, so say France won the World Championships 2015, and that guy, Matthew Sheehan, won it as well. Did they get anything? Like, I don't think France got anything anyway,
no,
which is
no.
fucking good. And not only that, like, the state would never acknowledge that,
Oh yeah,
which is
they
fucking
never would.
pathetic in a way. It's kind of, I like, look, I know in some ways, MMA, like, it's fucking not doing itself any mad favors in ways, but like, Jesus Christ, you look at what this sport actually is to most of the young people fucking competing in it, and like the level of dedication and the level of fucking self belief and follow through, and like how beneficial that is for the rest of your fucking life, even outside of fighting and all of that
Yeah,
shit. Like, and to not have any state recognition or to not have any even like positive fucking feedback, like, it's basically shunned by the state more than it's fucking embraced.
yeah,
And look, let's be honest, a lot of that is because of some of the culture that's come up with Connor in the last fucking 10 years. But like, you can't fucking have one individual tar the whole fucking sport.
exactly.
It's a different fucking thing. Like, we're in a place of like, this thing is fucking beautiful if you look at it the right way.
Yeah,
So embrace it and see what it actually is and look at the sport and not the individuals on a Saturday night, you know. And I like, even from the point of view, like, I fucking did an interview on Off the Ball there recently, and like, I feel like it was very weirdly set up to be kind of a hit piece on MMA. And like, it's an odd culture to come into because like you're there trying to promote a fight, and it's, oh shit, you're dealing with this thing, and it's like, here, look, lads, I'm not trying to fucking do anything
yeah,
terrible to anyone. At the end of the day, I'm just going out and living my life and trying to be the
yeah,
fucking best person I can be and all that type of shit. And yet, like, you have an agenda with the sport that I compete in, so you need to see this as a negative. And it's like, well, fuck, it doesn't actually affect you if you don't want this. And like, not like, if you don't like it, fine, that's okay. But you don't have to focus on the shit. Like, nobody's going to put you in a cage and make you fight anybody. It's a consensual fucking sport. Everybody I compete with is taking part in this because they want to.
exactly.
But yeah, look, I'm getting into different shit really. But yeah, I find it all a bit like this country's relationship with MMA is a bit bizarre, considering like we are the fighting Irish and there is a fucking culture here of like embracing combat sports. And from fans, yeah, you get a fuckload of sport. That's incredible. And like, you know, even like the buzz of the last 2 weeks for me has been fucking beautiful in a lot of ways. And like, where I'm from in Cairn Tipperary, I get so many fucking beautiful messages off people and like still massively embraced by people like it's class. But overall, as a nation and the state, like is that me if I walk and become a triple champion, would that ever even be acknowledged by any mainstream media outlet?
No,
Seems highly unlikely.
no, which is
Yeah,
disgraceful.
which is
Like,
weird because like
yeah,
actually I was on the 9 o'clock fucking news in the Czech Republic, like you know what I mean, and like the main fucking sports papers over there are all covering me, and like I'm getting rung up by fucking journalists in the Czech Republic to do interviews for like their version of the Irish Times. That would fucking never happen here. And that's mad. That dawned on me a couple of days ago of like, yeah, these are like the mainstream outlets in the
yeah,
Czech Republic. None of the mainstream outlets here want to fucking cover MMA, you know. And
yeah,
they're so respectful and it's such a different culture. Whereas like if I was doing a piece here with the mainstream media, it'd be very like, explain to me why you're crazy. It's a buzz of it. It's like, what makes you tick, you mad bastard? And look, yeah, okay, there's a bit of that. Like, I get it. Like, but it's that kind of like morbid fascination more than like respect.
Yeah. Okay. That's been perfect. Thank you very much for coming on, Mr. Fleury. I really
Nice one.
appreciate this. Thank
Cheers.
you very
Thanks,
much.
man.